Hello, folks. So, today is May Day, the International Workers' Day. And in this day, more than 100 years ago, several workers got their rights of 8-hour workdays. Now, as software engineers, some of us may not be working for 8 hours a day. But I know for many of us, if we say that they are only working 8 hours a day, it is a total joke for them. So, today, we will be discussing about a very interesting article. And in the occasion, we can also talk about some developer rights, which is often not discussed that much. The Tale of Overworked Software Development Teams. This is a rather older article, more than 3 years ago, but this is a very apt article for this day. It is not a secret that software development team members are perpetually overworked, and this unhealthy trend keeps on growing to the point that clients and companies keep shrugging their shoulders at this while we are all way too quiet. By the way, and in case you are wondering, this does not apply to developers, it applies to any member of a software development team. Project managers, scrum masters, testers, business analysts, DevOps engineers, enterprise and solution architect, you name it. But I believe there is an additional responsibility for software developers, and that is for managers and testers and BAs. They can at least explain their work that this is what they're doing and that's why this is the amount of time they need. But for us developers, sometimes it is difficult to explain why some task is taking a certain amount of time. It is difficult to explain the technical aspects and what kind of issues we are facing. We can explain to other developers, but explaining it to leadership is another story. So this is an additional burden you can say that we have to carry, which some of the other team members may not have to carry. Anyway, I have been involved in the IT industry for over 17 years. I mean, not me, this guy. And I love what I do. I love the industry. I love the people and I love the knowledge. And yeah, I absolutely agree with this part. I love the industry and that's why I'm doing IT. I love the people like I came across several amazing managers and other kinds of people, not only developers, people doing other work in the IT industry. And I also love the knowledge and that's why I'm doing software development. The issue is that we are not being provided for the most part with fair and adequate workloads that allows us to maintain healthy work-life balance. And what I have noticed is that as a generation, we are setting an unhealthy precedent that it is okay for companies knowingly and intentionally overwork IT and software development teams. And yeah, this is actually the biggest issue. The knowledge, the industry, the people, they are not really the issue. Everybody takes shot at us. Oh, come on, you make good money, and I know. You work in a cushy office. And now with COVID, some of you even work in your boxers and bathrobes from home. Do what you're told, or else. So yeah, so it's like people are thinking that we are only sitting in front of a laptop and doing our work. We are not doing any manual work. So yeah, there should not be any issues with this, right? I mean, it's just work. It's very simple stuff. But there is a cerebral pressure that we have to take care of every day. There are new kinds of issues, unknown kinds of issues, invisible bugs, and that sometimes gives us lots of anxiety, and which is also difficult to explain. Even to a therapist, I would say. Our ancestors fought hard for fair pay and fair hours, and we are undoing their achievement. Let's paint a picture, shall we? A Java developer joins a software development consulting company in North America. This company provides custom software development services for its clients. Our developers contract specifies 40-hour work week, no overtime, 3-week vacation per year at best, and a good salary plus benefits. So far, this is the IT dream. Know your stuff, deliver on time with good quality, be reliable and responsible, get along with people, and you will do just fine. Yeah, I mean, before joining, this is what most of us think. I mean, in the contract, there is nothing more, nothing less. This is exactly what we want. But where does this go off the rails? As the new developer starts working, the workload starts to increase sneakily. The developer was supposed to be working on one project, and 3 weeks later, two more projects fall on his developer's lap with the usual, we just need a bit of help here and there. 6 weeks after that, two additional projects start taking more time, and then the initial project the developer actually assigned to, but we want it all on time, on budget, and without defects. And yeah, so in this way, slowly but steadily, the work keeps on increasing, but the time of the day is fixed to 24 hours, as well as we have sleep. So we have to cut the sleep or other things or social life or something else. So yeah, this is how the work keeps on getting improved. Does the employer ask the developer to do work overtime? They rarely do anymore. What they do instead is that they will assign you anywhere 60 to 80 hours worth of work per week, at which point you need to work 12 to 16 hours each day on average. Some of these tasks come with impossible and even capricious deadlines, often driven by office politics and not by facts or real business needs. So our friend ends up figuring out all the midnight oil must be burnt on regular basis just to keep up. Then it goes, I just need to work extra hard for this particular project in this particular quarter. To you noticing that it is December and you have been working this much all year. But you notice that you are still being pushed to deliver stuff before end of the year. This is a classic one, and that your management is already asking you estimation for an equally busy Q1 next year. Just like that, you are being overworked from this one time to this is the minimum that we expect. Yeah. So this becomes a new normal. So you are getting extra work, you are working extra, and this is something that is temporary. That it's not long. It's not long. But then what happens is this is what we expect. I mean, software developers need to deliver software on time. So no excuses. Since humans have the ability to adapt and evolve, our developer friends getting faster, better, and start seeing patterns in the day-to-day that allows for shortcuts to be created in order to work more efficiently. You would think that this could help our friends scale down to reasonable working hours, but no. Instead, it is seen as a new capacity and not as time needed in order to rest for the developer can. Keep healthy, stay sharp, and take care of the family. As some of you might have been coming, our developer ends up getting additional projects and goes right back to square one, having to work 60 to 80 hours per week for yet another year. So what happens is the shortcuts and stuff that he's figuring out. What happens is it ends up helping the company and not him, although he's doing the innovation. So what happens is he's getting more work for the shortcuts because now he can work faster and he becomes a senior developer. So he can work faster, so he has to do more work. No excuses once again. Now, it is time for our friend to try to request well-deserved time off. Oh, there is where it gets really nasty. You can start by submitting your request to your manager or project leader who is probably also overworked. Since vacation approvers are usually accountable and responsible for delivery timelines, you start getting pushback. Our developer friend starts getting grilled with questions designed to guilt trap the person into potentially postponing their time off. Some along the lines, what's your backup? I mean, who is your backup? What is the status of this, and that? Are you going to be done before leaving? And the most infamous one, would you be available to be on call if there is an emergency? So you may be going to a vacation on some remote mountain where there may not be any connection, but you have to be available in case there is an emergency. Although those emergency stuff rarely happen, but sometimes there could be production issues. So yeah, you should be available even if you are on vacation. This one is a rhetorical question. People, by the way, if you're wondering if it is more of an expectation disguised as a question, note. You have to be professional and make sure your time off doesn't impact the project. There is nothing wrong with companies expecting this from their teams. The issue that I'm highlighting here is that the lack of regard for people's need for time off and brought an intention to discourage people from planning vacation time. So yeah, so this is the real question. So if somebody who is responsible for the team and stuff, I'm sure that before taking time off, they will also be thinking that the project should not be facing any difficulty while they're off. But what ends up happening is their time off gets delayed. They may not be getting a time off, and yeah, I mean, senior people and management people are simply not bothered. And yeah, that is a real concern. Not really if the project will be impacted or not. I'm sure even developers are very much passionate about the craft they're doing. Since the developer has bills to pay and a family to feed, the guilt and fear creeps in and the person decides to leave it alone and keep working. How often this happens is disturbing and just wrong, of course. Is shy of relief from one project leader. What happens then? The developer starts accumulating vacation days and the HR starts asking, hey, how come you have not taken your time off? If you do not take it by XXX, you will lose it. So now our developer is forced to take the vacation at times that is not suitable. Moving on with our tale based of millions of true stories, our friend's post vacation gets approved and the other nasty part of this process begins. Since our developer is responsible and reliable, our friend connects with the project leader to align on what needs to be done before leaving. The project leader dumps a huge laundry list of our friend's lap and 80 hours a week turns to 100 hours for at least 2 weeks before taking off. And it is our developer's last day at the office at 11 p.m. with at least 2 to 3 more hours to go. Now this is 3:30 a.m. and finally it is all done. And our developer is in the clear and off to rest, off some rest, right? Wrong. First day of the vacation, our friend wakes up to emails and missed calls. Panic kicks in. Our friends take some calls, answers, and emails, all in the hopes of be seen as a team player that works hard and is worth keeping around. Soon, around the vacation time is over, our friend is back to work, and the only break was working 20 to 40 hours a week instead of 60 to 80. Hang on, it gets better, as some of you who have read this far might already have experienced. When our friend is back to work, now another 100 hours a week for the next 2 to 3 weeks is dedicated to catching up. So our friend earned a vacation by working excessive hours all year, more excessive hours. And after all, normal hours were while off and resting. Who the hell devised this? And how the hell did we all agree to work like this for the past 20 years? So, yeah, so this is the norm that has been created, and that is something that we are discussing over here. And yeah, this is very unfortunate, but this is true for many teams. Not all teams, I would say, fortunately, not for my team, and that's why I can do YouTube on my free time. But for many teams, this is the unfortunate reality. This cycle repeats to 2 to 5 years have gone by. Our friend has a lot of gray hairs now, 20 to 40 pounds overweight because who has time to work out and eat healthy? Maybe back problems, trouble sleeping, maybe close to needing blood pressure medication, and not much family life. One day, our friend wakes up and this is it no more. I will work for normal hours. I will not be available when I'm off, and I will provide project leaders reasonable expectations of the workload that I can manage during normal business hours. Their problem solved. So, our developer tries to pull that stunt and unfairly seen by the leaders and problems begin. I have personally been in management meetings where you hear leaders say, "This guy used to be great. Now he is lazy and wants to do bare minimum." Or this person has an attitude problem. You push it a bit and all you get is bitching and complaining. So now our friend's grand plan will create a label of slacker and will eventually result in termination. Just because our friend was trying to defend his right for a healthy work life balance, by the way, it should be called work life work balance instead. See how we are conditioned to prioritize work over our personal life. So, yeah, this is a very interesting point that is raised here, that we all say work life balance, we never say life work balance. And what it means is that somehow work is more important than life. And I believe this is a problem. We are working for our life, for our family, for our for our loved ones and people, but we are working for them. It's not the other way around. It's not like that we are working for work and we are taking some hours off for our life. So it should be life work balance only. This is the real way to put it. In an alternate scenario, rather than putting one's foot down, the developer just resigns to go to another company to be put in a similar situation, but at least for some more money, benefits, and closer to home, etc. In either case, here's what companies will start seeing the well deserved consequences of treating people, their main asset, in this unfair and inconsiderate way. So yeah, this is something that the companies face, and in case somebody is not happy in a company, they can always switch to another company. But somehow the companies have found to run a business model like this, that some person will overwork and they will keep their profits high, and yeah, that's how. So it's definitely working for the companies now. Whether they can have more profits the other way, but maybe they are not really bothered. So it's fine. I mean, as long as few people overwork, even if they switch companies, I think it's fine for the companies. It's not a big deal, looks like. Attrition finally materializes, and the project leader is informed that our friend is leaving the company and that a replacement is needed. The developer gives 2 to 3 weeks notice, and all of that expertise is now going to a competitor. Before you ask, what if the next company is not really a competitor? Stop for a second and think. I say competitor because companies no longer only compete with each other in their respective industries. All companies, regardless of their business model, compete with each other for talent as well. A major retailer and a bank do not directly compete in their revenue generating activities, but they both need skilled developers eventually. So now our friend goes to another company, and the remaining team has to pick up the slack and be more overworked. You see emails coming in on Saturday at 10:30 p.m. You see people committing code on Sunday afternoon. Project timelines are barely holding, but the worst part is that the so-called leaders don't even see the bigger problem. They keep harvesting more unhappy team members that will eventually leave just for a change in the routine, and thereby creating an even bigger problem for themselves and for those who remain working for them. So yeah, so eventually what happens if the senior dev resigns, who will do their work? Like other team members, of course, and they will have to do even more overwork because they could be junior to them. Like I believe we are talking about a senior developer in this case. So yeah, so eventually what will happen that all other team members have to work maybe 10 hours extra. They will become unhappy and eventually they will also leave. And so the expertise of the regarding the company that they have developed, and all of it will be wasted, and which could be avoided, I believe, is what the author is suggesting. I know it could be avoided, but as I'm saying, maybe the companies don't really care about this. Maybe they have found a business model. They know that some other people will come and they will eventually catch up. I mean, they're also doing business for long. So I'm not really sure that what the companies are thinking, but maybe this is how it is. Now you might say, a nice little tale, not hard to foresee how it ended. What is your point? It comes down to simple questions that we need to demand and answer ASAP, as soon as possible. When will companies start taking real action to take care of their people? I am not just talking about benefits, bonuses, and money. When will they really care about their employees' well being and mental health? What needs to happen for the management to stop shrugging their shoulders while team leaders report people working excessive hours? And yeah, so this is something that the senior management should decide. What needs to happen for the so called leaders to realize that human beings need rest to function correctly and to perform? When we are all going to acknowledge that this is wrong and it needs to be corrected? When will the companies realize the difference between staying competitive and being greedy? And when will we realize the stupidity of using agile frameworks to manage projects rather than allow teams to self organize and deliver value at their own set of velocity? And at what point will we take a stand for fairness in all industries? What is saying this is not feasible, a capital C now? So, yeah, sometimes this is not feasible is a valid proposition, but sometimes it could be a problem. So, yeah. When will companies understand the value of life work balance and how it could possibly impact their business competitiveness and ability to attract talent? When will vendors, consulting firms, and overall service providers explain to their clients that their teams are composed by human beings that have lives and needs too? We need to start asking these questions and start proposing solutions to help employees and employees thrive and win together while maintaining healthy, sustainable, and fair workloads. This is nothing against profits or the need for companies to stay ahead. It is more in favor of balance between family life and work. Yeah, absolutely agree. But I actually have a little bit more mischievous idea. So, what the author is suggesting is see, this article is actually from 2020. So, we still don't have AI and the chat GPT rush those days. It was mostly about Bitcoin and crypto and stuff. So, what I'm thinking is maybe service providers will not have to explain to their clients that their like teams are composed of human beings. Maybe AI will do all of our work and we can simply chill and stay in our home, right? Without salaries, of course. So then maybe we will have to rethink that overworking is better or simply total life balance without any salary. Which one is better? Maybe we have to think on that. Anyway, jokes apart, overworking and devaluing employees leads to them seeking other employment. This overworks and devalues current employees who have to take on workload of the one who left and thus pushes deadlines anyways and results in delays and errors and anyways that could have been organized better and wouldn't have resulted in termination or a letter of resignation. If companies commit to working their employees are allowed 40-hour week, the employees will function better as they have ample time for rest and begin to perform better. And as long as they remain valued as a worked and human amount, do companies not realize that in the long run, they will actually be able to deliver to their clients faster and more efficiently. Put greed aside, value your people and deliver faster, better quality service. Read that again. Put greed aside. Yeah, I feel this is the biggest issue. If all the companies are after is money, money, and money, then definitely work-life balance and other stuff, good stuff, all the good stuff will come down, and the bad stuff will increase. So yeah, this is the most important part, I believe. We noticed that our friend, the developer, actively found more efficient ways to deal with the workload. So given the developer became more efficient, providing faster, more accurate, and more quality content, the company actually benefits from spending work over 40 hours rather than 80 hours. Now, in turn, will begin producing more and faster. Let that sink in. Yeah. So this is a nice article, I would say, and these are some of the things. Like some of the bad stuff is normalized in the industry. So I believe that gradually this needs to be corrected. And actually, I'm not against the companies or the employers. I mean, what I believe is there should be a healthy relationship. Like I don't think that all the developers are interested in starting their own startup or companies or simply become self-employed because self-employed is also a problem. So what we want is the companies can do business and earn money. There is no problem in that. What we want is simply more work-life balance because even I believe that actually software development job is easier compared to other jobs. Like there is no manual labor involved, and what the only labor that we do is mental labor or cerebral labor, and we also love doing it. That's why we are doing it. So what we want is maybe more sense into the situation and other than that, we simply love the job and love the industry. Like for me, at least, I believe there is no issue. So yeah, That's it about the final thoughts, and that's it. So, if you want to discuss with me more stuff regarding software development and the IT industry and programming languages tutorial, anything, you can join my Discord server. I will keep the link in the description below. And if you have liked this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow organically. And yeah, that's it for this video, and I will see you next time.